Why, hello there. Welcome back to Storytime with Janine, the drunk bitch. Anyway, so champagne's chilling in the fridge. This story time I think is gonna be more mellow. It's not like really like anything like crazy going on. It's just like how, like why I became a house call groomer and why I like went in and out of it so quickly, and to kind of explain my house call situation because I get so many questions about it. So I want to try to answer like most of them that I get in this video, but this isn't a like let's talk about some drama, like let's be a little tipsy kind of video. So I'm like, we'll start light today. First drink of the day. Like, God, you know, running a business and like, hey sir, he's good as long as like my dogs don't turn around and realize there's somebody walking by right now. We're good. It's the only thing about filming right here. We're working on a better setup. We're getting it together, you guys. Don't worry. Anyway, house call grooming, what got me there and what walked me out of it. Okay, so if you guys have been following me for a long time, you know I was working at my last job. I was miserable there. And I got bit really badly. And that was like really my wake up call. Now, I guess let's go back a little bit further. I knew, actually, technically, before I even started at that job, I knew I wanted to start my own business eventually. But because that job was going so horribly, it kind of gave me a kick in the ass to really get it off the ground. So originally I wanted a van, ironically. It's so funny, like how I got to this point. So anyway, I wanted a van. I was at the time living with my ex, so I didn't really have anywhere to park it, whatever. I had a different accountant than I have now. And the accountant I was working with at the time did not like the expense of the van. He thought it was way too much money. Way too much risk, whatever. So his idea was that I should buy a house where I could open up a business on my property. Because if you haven't looked into this, shit, there's a cat. There's been so many stray cats recently. Stevie's like locked in. No, please. Oh, she started it. Max, it's okay, Bubby. No, don't even look. Don't even look, Bubby. It's gone. No, please don't. Max, please. He saw it. Saw it. Hold on. Bear with us. Okay, like I said, the accountant, it's gone. It's gone. Don't even worry about it. The accountant didn't like the idea of the expensive van. He was like, why don't you look into a actual house? Because if you look into retail locations, typically they're a lot more expensive. So like a mortgage on a house could, like in where I live, is pretty affordable. You can find a decent sized house with a mortgage that's like $500 a month. Whereas I could get a business, like a retail location that's probably even smaller than my house, and be spending well over $1,000 a month just on the location. That's before utilities and whatever. So that's why he was like, why don't you find a house and you're going to, like, you can work off your property. Okay. So that's why I bought my house. I have a huge 3-car garage back there that is completely empty. I was going to renovate it into my shop. I spent months working on my business plan, getting everything together. Like I said, whenever I went to my real estate agent and I said like, hey, this is my plan, this is what I'm doing, I told her I needed to be zoned in an area where I'd be able to open a business. Like I said, went through all the efforts of getting this business started. I called out plumbers and contractors and electricians and everybody to come out and give me quotes. I pretty much was ready to start building back there. And I had to call the water company because there was gonna have to be a separate water line run. And whenever I called the water company, which is like my town hall, they were like, oh, no, you cannot open a business there. So like the whole time I thought that like my real estate agent had checked into that. I don't know what happened with that. It doesn't matter. That was obviously not the life path for me because things worked out differently. And I think about it all the time, like how different my life would be had that worked out, right? Okay, so that's what was in the works as this dog bite thing happened. I'm still working at my last job as I'm planning all this out, trying to get this off the ground, right? So I get the house. find out I can't run a business out of it. And I'm at the shop. I started getting comfortable. I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, my bills are paid for. I've got guaranteed clients, whatever. I started getting comfortable there. I was like, honestly, partially thinking about staying there. And that's when I got really badly bitten by one of their daycare dogs that was super aggressive. And it charged into my room and was trying to attack the dog that I had. And I jumped in front of him and he bit me instead. And he still to this day goes to that daycare. Unbelievable. Anyway. So, like I said, that was eye-opening to me because when he bit me, like the moment it connected, I was like, damn, that could have been my hand. That was literally, he tagged me on my leg, full force, bit me as hard as he could on my leg, full-size golden retriever. Literally the bruise was like the size of my fucking leg. I'll have to do another. I did a story time on it. I may end up redoing it. We'll see. And I've said this before, but like my personality like has really come out over like the last like year or so. So I feel like some of my older videos didn't translate as well as like if I retold it now. Like I'm kind of like a little bit more myself now, a little bit more out there, not restricted by your bad relationship anymore. You know what I mean? So anyway, like I said, that's going on. I get bit. And I'm like, I've got to get the fuck out of this place. Like I said, I was like, that could have been my hand. That could have been career ending. So I'm like, I got to get out and I got to get out now. So I went ahead and put in my notice before I even knew what the fuck I was going to do. I had clients that were on a 2-week schedule. So I knew that I pretty much had until like I finished out at that shop to have my shit figured out and figure out what I was going to do. So that's why I went ahead and made the jump to Housecall, because I knew it would get me through until we figured something else out. At this point, we're already like interested in vans, looking at vans, seeing if it could potentially be possible. At first, I had hoped to be able to save a bunch of money like with Housecall to be able to save up for the van. I ended up having to use money that like if you don't know anything about me, I was raised by like my mom and my stepdad, and my stepdad passed away in 2018, I guess. Was it 2018? Yeah, I guess it would have been 2018. So, anyway, after he passed, there was money from his job that was left to us, and I chose to use that money to get the van. Like whatever cut I would have gotten just went to my van, right? So, anyway, that's why I went ahead and did that. Like I said, originally I'd hoped I could have saved up the money through Housecall and not had to have touched that money like from him passing. I wanted to leave it, but the reality was it was going to take me a really, really long time to save up through Housecall. Now for me, let's just get into it, and let me just be honest with you, because this is something I get asked a lot about, and I just want to be transparent. I hated Housecall. I hated it. I have talked about this before, but not in its own video. I think I made a video on like different types of grooming jobs and options that you can do as a groomer, and I did say in that video that I hated Housecall. But I mean, I really fucking hated it. I'm just like, I feel every time I go to talk about this, I feel so bad, because there's people like Rose and Friends Pet Care, and there's a lot of you guys. I talk to a lot of you guys all the time that do Housecall. I see so many people that do it and love it, and they're super successful in it. It was not for me. I hated carrying my shit. I hated being in people's houses, and they'd like, even the people that were like super on board with everything, they like, you know, come peeking around the corner, like, what's my dog doing? And it's like so innocent, but I mean, a dog that would now take me an hour was at least 2 hours every time, like, because carrying all my shit in and out, the conversation, the people coming in while you're grooming and disturbing the dog, like all of those little things make it take longer. And I did not think I could charge as much as I can charge now in mobile, because I was leaving a mess. I mean, there's only so much you can clean. And like when you're talking about hair, it just sticks to everything. Like every time I left somebody's house, I was so stressed out. Like I was like, you know, I always went above and beyond to make sure I cleaned everything. But like there was, for example, there was one Cavalier that I groomed. She must have had 15 feet high ceilings, if not higher. I mean, there's no way. You would have to have like a full-size ladder to reach her ceilings. And I would blow dry her in the kitchen, and I'd just see the hair going up to the top, and I was like, it was so stressful. And then I'd like, you know, anyone that I groomed in a kitchen or anything, I'd turn around, there's just dander and hair all over the counters. Like, oh my God, it was so much to clean. It was so stressful thinking like I knew, like I said, that there had to have been hair and dander and everything else left behind. It was literally a nightmare. There was like one de-shed I did, and they would have me do it on their screened-in porch. And like when she, like on a normal, because she's 4 weeks, and on a normal day, I wouldn't see that much hair, but there was a couple times like when she was blowing coat really heavy that it was just coated. And they were like, no, it's fine, we'll clean it, you know, whatever. And it just, oh my God, it just made me feel so bad. I hated it. Like, hated carrying all my shit in. My fucking box is as big as I am. Everybody's like, oh my God. And then like all the trips, like because I knew I wasn't going to be doing this long term, so I didn't buy that expensive table that folds up. That's like so expensive, but it's super light. I mean, if you're going to do house call for real and that's like your gig and that's what you want to do, then yeah, invest in the better stuff. I did not invest in the better stuff. My stuff was always being like thrown around. It was just so annoying, like always, like, because I didn't want to carry tons of shampoo on me. I just had like little travel size bottles, so I was constantly having to make sure that they were full, and everything was like Tetris to get everything in there just right. So it's like even between clients, that's another thing that would add so much time, was packing everything in there just right so it would all fit. There were just so many like really nitpicky things like that. And frankly, it just made me really uncomfortable going in people's houses. Like in my area, I was really having trouble getting people like on board with like using their tub and shit. And I was doing it during the winter, so using like an outside spigot in South Carolina, and like, you know, it's not freezing here, but it's way too cold to be bathing dogs outside in cold water on the tap. You know, they could definitely get way too cold, and I wouldn't even want to risk something like that. So for me, it was really hard to find people to get on board. I hated it. I hated carrying my stuff in and out. I didn't like using my car, frankly, and putting all the miles on my personal car. I didn't like doing that. Yeah. There was just a lot that I disliked, you know? For me, house call was not the option. And like I said, I had full intentions on getting the van. Like I said, originally I was hoping to save up with the house call, and I was like, oh, I'll save my, you know, not have to dip into my savings essentially to get the van. And it was just not realistic. So I went ahead and got the van, and it worked out perfectly because I got my van April 1st, 2020. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. I did have to cancel all of my house call clients for March because there was just no way to safely enter people's home with COVID on the rise as it was at that time. So, and I mean, it still is, and I don't go to people's houses now. Like, I really make a point not to go inside people's houses. Because I really, as a mobile, like, I don't need to. I don't go inside to use their bathrooms or anything like that. But yeah, like I said, house call just like really wasn't for me. No, I was not able to save up the money for my van with the house call. I know that's a question I get a lot. So people are like, how long did it take you to save up the money? And it's like, it would have taken me forever. I mean, I would have really had to put my all into it and really promote hard to get the house call going. And it was just something I hated so much that it was so hard for me to get. Like, you can't convince people of something if you're not even convinced, you know what I mean? So it's like hard to sell them something when I know full well I would never pay somebody to come groom in my house. Like, I just wouldn't. Like, all my dogs shed like crazy. I know, like, my bathroom would be fucking ruined. And I know it would be because I've groomed my dogs in my house, and it did ruin my fucking bathroom. I still to this day find hair on like weird little corners from Luna. Like, it just, I feel like you never get that hair out of here. It's really, grooming is not, in my opinion, something that should be done in somebody's house. Like a de-shed, probably not. There's obviously ways to do it. A lot of people pull it off. And I'm not dogging house call as a whole. I'm saying it was not for me. Like, I think that it is great. I think there are perks, like, especially for people, like, with me in the van, like, I now have it completely closed. Like, you cannot look outside and see what I'm doing in that van. And I don't let people in the van with me. So for people that are, like, really wanting to know what their dog is doing start to finish, like, house call is, like, the better way to go. It is more one-on-one. It's really great for, like, older people that kind of need that companionship, if anything. That's really, good for them because you guys can talk. So if you're somebody that likes to spend that time with people and whatever, there's plenty of people that do house call. Again, I want to very much clarify that I don't think it's like a terrible direction to take if that's the direction you're going in. The startup is really affordable. I think it can be promoted right. You just really have to get your reputation out there. You're going to have to work a lot harder to advertise. If I was going to do it and be serious about it, I would get a sticker for my car. Probably like, not like a little sticker on the back. I'd probably get one of those ones on the door, like a big one, so people like really see it and understand, and do some catchy logo or something. And like I said, really promote it out there. Get your customers maybe to do referrals. You could do something like that. There's definitely ways to do it and it be profitable, but I mean, of course, if you're asking me, like, if you can buy a van, buy a van. That's just my opinion. Like, I'm all about the vans. I've had such amazing success since I've gotten my van. I'm so happy with the way that things have gone since I've gotten my van. But like I said, I just really wanted to clear some of that stuff up with the house call. Because like I said, that's like the things I get the most. Also, you guys are asking a lot about insurance. Now, I have Hanover insurance. When I had the house call business, I had Pet Biz. But I have Hanover for the van. Hanover, I called Governor Insurance. That's who Hanvey recommended, and they got me linked up with Hanover. And you guys have asked me a lot about like what all insurance like you would need. And honestly, it's been a while since I've looked into it, so I can't remember offhand, but you guys just stay tuned, because in this Hanvey class, I'm telling you, Hanvey class, we're going to answer all these questions. This is all going to, we'll get you all your questions taken care of. But some of this stuff, like, I don't want to give you wrong information, especially about something as important as insurance. So I can tell you what insurance I have, but I'm not even the one that can tell you, like, all the stuff that, jab myself. But I'm not even the one that can tell you, like, you know, you gotta, like, I know there's, like, professional liability, and like I have it written somewhere, all the ones, but my advice is call Pet Biz, call Governor, call around. I would recommend staying in the pet business with the insurance, because as we know, as pet professionals, there's all kinds of freak things that can happen with dogs, and somewhere like State Farm or Allstate or whatever, they may not even think to cover all that stuff, and you want to make sure that you are extra covered when it comes to dogs. So anyway, I'm trying really hard to think if there's anything else that I frequently get asked about house call. I think that's mainly it, is like, you know, saving up for the van and, you know, whatever. And I wanted to clarify why I got into house call and like why I got out of it so quick. It's just simply because I did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy bringing my stuff in. I dreaded it. And because I dreaded it, I really almost like fought against bringing in clients. I feel like whenever I was trying to talk to somebody about an appointment, I was almost talking them out of it, or trying to, because I just didn't even want to add on new clients, because I just fucking hated it. I really just did not enjoy house call. It's definitely not for me. But again, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. Like, honestly, at this point, I don't really want to work in a shop anymore, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with working in a shop. Some people would argue that working in a shop's way better than mobile. So really, at the end of the day, this all boils down to preference. But I just really wanted to clear up all the confusion, because I think there was a lot of you guys that thought that I worked in house call and saved up all this money and then just like magically bought the van after 4 months in house call. And that would be amazing, wouldn't it? But it did not go that way, unfortunately. I was going broke doing house call because, like I said, I just didn't want to add in new clients. I just didn't want to do it. I fucking hated it. I just wanted my van, and now I have it. Now I'm having here. So that's yeah, about the house call shit. Maybe that's what I'll call it. About the house call grooming. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I want to go do more fun story time, because this one was kind of boring, but it was like a necessary story time to kind of answer a lot of the house call groomer questions. So, house call groomers, here's your video. You're welcome. Hopefully it was helpful. I don't know. I'm trying to think how it would be helpful. I don't know. It's helpful to me, really, because I've just been answering the same questions over and over about house calls. So that's really why I'm uploading this, is to answer like the bulk of the house call grooming questions that you guys have had over time. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to go record something that's more energetic before I fall asleep. All right, love you guys. I'll see you next one. Bye.